Okay, what's going on, guys? There's been a lot of news in the NBA over the past week with the trade deadlines. The Lakers making big moves, the Mavericks, Kyrie Irving making big moves, the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant making big moves. But there's one thing that's also going on this week besides the end of the trade deadline: the fucking Super Bowl. Oops, sorry, YouTube didn't curse. Not going to get monetized, but who cares? So, the Super Bowl is going on this week, and it's been quiet. Just I think because that this has been the biggest trade deadline in NBA history, there hasn't really been a lot of headline-worthy news coming out of between the Chiefs and the Eagles. I mean, you pretty much know what's going on both sides. Patrick Mahomes had the ankle injury. He should be fine. He had 2 weeks off rest. You know that team depends on him heavily, him and Travis Kelce. There's really not a lot of drama there. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, not a really problematic guy. He's quiet, leads by example. Um, the Eagles, you already know what's up with them. They play hard. They have a juggernaut of a team, just top to bottom. This is well coached. So it's going to be just two good teams going out there. There's really no bad blood, not a lot of beef, and just there's really no storylines going into this week. It's not like Tom Brady versus Mahomes or Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, Jerry Jones were coming back to front. You know what I mean? It's nothing too crazy. So what are we gonna do? What's there to talk about? I'm gonna find something to talk about. I seen a headline talking about Justin Herbert's ribs. And no, Justin Herbert isn't opening up his own barbecue spot. His actual ribs. He pulled the Lebron James after the NBA Finals. You guys remember the NBA Finals 2018 when the Lakers got swept? The Cleveland Cavaliers got swept by the Golden State Warriors. Nothing wrong with LeBron the whole series. After they got swept the last game, he in there with sunglasses and a full body cast. It was a hand cast, but he might as well have been in there like this at the press conference at the end of the game. So, Justin Herbert, end of the season, he's been out for a few weeks after the Chargers blew one of the worst playoff leads in all time. I think it was like the third most. Guy who really doesn't do too many interviews in general. I've been seeing at least 2-3 interviews. I haven't seen Justin Herbert interviews his whole career. It doesn't really say much. Another quiet guy, leads by example, just lets his play do the talking. But I've seen a lot of interviews with him like this. I've seen about a good 2-3 him showing off them. As a matter of fact, he might have took a picture like this. Remember when KD was just tore his Achilles and was in the hospital? Justin Herbert got one of those like this. I swear to God, I can't make it up. Look it up. Justin Herbert in there like this, holding his ribs with the sling and everything. So, and the question was, how big of the issue was Justin Herbert's ribs playing into the season? Yeah, I could get into that. It was an issue because it affected him running the ball if he had to get surgery at the end of the year. Because I was watching him play a lot this year, and I was like, dude, he should be using his legs way more. A lot of people don't know this. Everyone knows that Josh Allen is mobile. He's thought of as a very mobile quarterback. Justin Herbert isn't as shifty as Josh Allen. He won't hurdle you as much as Josh Allen. He won't make you miss an open field or even try to truck you. But guess what? He's faster. Straight line speed. He ran a faster 40 than Josh Allen. Look it up. It's a fact. So he's mobile. He just wasn't using his legs at all this year. So that was very frustrating as a Chargers fan. But if you take into equate that he was sitting on a pair of ribs that needed surgery and a KD pick and a LeBron James cast at the end of the year, then, hey, I'll cut you some slack. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about something that pertaining to the NFL and more specifically the quarterbacks. I really don't know exactly which direction we're going, but just stick with me. So, I want to talk about who wants to take that next spot as far as the quarterback. We know who the number one spot is. It's Patrick Mahomes. And we think we know who the number two spot is, Joe Burrow. But hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's another guy playing in the Super Bowl right now whose name isn't Joe Burrow. And his name is Jalen Hurts. So could we be looking at Jalen Hurts quietly making his case to become a rival to Mahomes over the next few years? We got to see, especially don't let him win this one because, the Eagles are favored. But are we really expecting Jalen Hurts to go out and outplay Patrick Mahomes or him just to have a better team? Say he outplays Patrick Mahomes or plays him toe-to-toe and wins on the last second drive. What is the narrative on Jalen Hurts? How are we looking at Jalen Hurts in comparison with Justin Herbert? Um, Guys like Josh Allen. Who else did we champion? It's consensus. He's better than Dak. Come on, me and you watching this, we're better than Dak. So, are we gonna start putting him in that young quarterback um, question? That young quarterback revolving chair of, oh, this is the guys. Because right now the guys are Patrick Mahomes, number one, of course. Then you could talk about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert. Then it kind of like cuts off right there. But there's a few guys who over the next few years I want to see have anything to say about that. And by few guys, I mean I want to see what happens with Jalen Hurts. Because he's not getting enough respect. Deshaun Watson had a down year. I mean, how could you have a good year with the circumstances that he was in mentally, physically, rust, everything going in? Hopefully he's far away from a massage envy as we speak. And Lamar Jackson. That's another guy who kind of early on in his career, the first 2 years especially, was kind of paired up with Mahomes, and Mahomes kind of took it to a God level. And he's kind of around that Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott-ish, Russell Wilson level. So I've already talked about how it's looking like Joe Burrow in the AFC is going to be that guy to come and go head to head with Mahomes, seeing that he's done that the past 2 years. He won last year against him. This year didn't have the same success. Played well, but his team lost. Mahomes was on a bum ankle, so it probably shouldn't even have been that close to begin with. But I'm just curious, who's going to really step up? Whose name is not Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts stepped up. He did his part. Are we going to give him his respect? Like, think about it this way. Imagine the hoopla if the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles was Josh Allen. Could you imagine how you wouldn't be able to hear, oh, the Josh Allen versus, imagine if it was even a guy like Carson Wentz. They'd be going crazy. Oh, I knew he could always do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like, especially going into the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts is not getting his respect. Jalen Hurts is a guy where if he doesn't get separated shoulder towards the end of the year, we're talking about him being the MVP of the league. I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes in a runaway, but it's not as close maybe as it would have been if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt. So just some food for that going into this Super Bowl Sunday. I'll check back in as far as NFL talk after the game, and we might be having a different adding one more name to that upcoming coveted rotating chair of young, great future quarterbacks. Peace.